Solis is really freaking good. Solis manages to do a lot of different things in one operator package. She has intel deny, which makes her into a very strong roamer, but she also has really, really strong utility capabilities that you can leverage throughout the course of especially the late round with the verticality and being able to find the exact location of the diffuser, which is very different than Pulse, who can't see who has diffuser. He can only see individual players, which is useful, but Solis can see them from further away. And she has a pretty solid gun with the P90, so gunners can take advantage of that as well, that really, really high fire rate. So we're going to take a look at a bunch of different rounds, and I'm going to show you exactly what's going on with Solis in competitive play and some things you can copy-paste into your own play, because really, it's not that complicated, some of the stuff that we're going to see. So the first thing you'll usually see a Solis do at the start of a round is get on the scanner. Here's Ambi, the main Solis player for Aerial, eventually Foxay. We'll swap off with Newers one time, but Foxay is the main guy for Oxygen on Solis. But here's Ambi. First thing that Ambi does, goes up to get the hatch for a church defense, and while he's in the process of running around, he's periodically activating his scanner. He's going back and forth on this quite a bit, and basically just doing drone hunting. Anywhere that Ambi wants to play, or anywhere that his teammates want to play, Ambi does a very thorough kind of scan throughout, even outside the building to a certain degree, to get an idea of what the attackers are doing. He realizes that whenever you see people trying to drone a particular part of the map, that means that people are eventually going to try to take that part of the map, right? That's a no-brainer. But even for the really extended parts of the roam, Ambi's playing here in Strip Club, and he's still just going back and forth, running around, going back and forth with the scanner, gets on it, runs, gets on it again, checks all sorts of nooks and crannies for different shelves, little cubbies, stuff like that, places where drones are typically going to hide. And this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool because Solis can use process of elimination, realize that, hey, there's no drones over here. There's not a lot of drone work going on around Strip. I can safely do an extended roam. I can hide. I can rat in really, really weird parts of the map that nobody expects. Like, Newers, bro, why are you here? Well, I'm here because you guys didn't drone me out. And you guys allocated a bunch of drones over to the garage side. I have players that were playing in garage for a little while, and while you were dealing with that, I went to the opposite end of the map. You don't know my exact location or even my general location because there are no drones in the immediate vicinity. So this allows Solis to leverage herself in really, really weird, ratty kind of spots of the map that you might not really expect, especially if you don't check them more thoroughly. Getting on the scanner as soon as you have the ability to is pretty important, even if you're doing site setup. In this case, Ambi is doing reinforcements, right? He blows up this with an impact nade, but even after doing all this right, periodically throughout the course of his route, if you want to think of it that way, Ambi will impact and then go back to getting on the scanner, run around, look at a shelf, look at a corner, look at a a rat spot for a drone, getting on the scanner, gets on the scanner pretty much everywhere he can. Okay, there's lots of different spots that drones can hide on. Drones can hide on, like, this thing, the AC vent. Drones can hide in this, all this little debris right by the jukebox, little corners, cubbies, right? Things that you would look past normally. Solis can find the drone and make sure that intel is not available. And you're going to see this in every single round. Every single round that Solis gets play in this map, Solis will help a little bit with site setup, then go a floor below, or if the site is on a floor with a ceiling, go above and look for drones. You want to get as much leverage in terms of your playing positions for defense. You don't want to have any kind of parts of the map where you feel unsafe, where you feel unsure, where you feel like you might have your location revealed to the enemy, especially in this current meta where the attackers can blow open a lot more stuff a lot more easily. You want to fan out your map control over the entirety of it as much as you can, right? You don't want to spread yourself too thin, but you want to spread your control as much as possible, and Solis is really, really good at this. Really good. So let's talk about the Bulletproof camera. In this situation, Ambi brings a Bulletproof camera instead of the typical impacts. He puts the Bulletproof camera here. You can see it. And the Bulletproof cam, let me draw that again just to, there you go. You can put the Bulletproof camera on top of this table here. Some parts of it are shot out so that you can actually get, to vault up and then give you a pretty decent amount of vantage point in terms of line of sight because of the higher elevation. There's also this server tower here to the side that protects it from getting shot on the right. And let's be honest, the only way this is going to get shot from the left is if somebody, an attacker, is like standing right here, which how many situations is this going to happen? The bulletproof cam, I also like to put over here by garage rafters because this basically creates a big hallway of death that attackers have to push through and then get hard pinged as they go along. If they don't have the proper utility to deal with it, a defender can just post up here, bang, bang, easy picks. Another thing to consider here about the bulletproof camera that ambi placed is that this is going to deny the plant spots. So in the situation where you can pretty much plant kind of anywhere, we're going to see this later on for a gym bedroom kind of take where Foxay denies with verticality with the Solis scanner. For a site like gym bedroom, there's going to be a little bit more in terms of options for attackers to plant the case. So you kind of need those impacts to make lines of sight to get that verticality deny. But in this case, the bulletproof camera is so difficult to deal with that you might as well just bring it, and it's a nice little off strat. The actual like surface area of this room is kind of limited, right? Just by the geometry. There's only going to be a couple of really like safe plant spots. This is going to be typically the default plant where the attackers are going to try to get the diffuser down. So there are some situations where the bulletproof camera is useful. I would say for the average Joes, impacts are going to do you just fine. But if you have a specific idea in mind and you coordinate it with your stack, I think bulletproof camera is also quite a useful gadget on any kind of operator, not just Solis. Let's take a look at round 7 with a play by Foxay. The presence of the Solis basically completely changes the way that this 2v1 situation is played. Usually in this kind of situation, you would play for crossfires and you would play for the trade. You have the low man count. The low man count guy will go down, and then somebody with high health will pick up the refrag. In this situation, you don't even have to do that because you have all the playing cards. You have everything in your hand because you know that the attacker has to go for the diffuser, and that's exactly what Uzi does. Uzi can't do anything differently here aside from go for the case, right? He's forced into this situation, which allows Foxay to go below, see the location of the case with his scanner, and then not only the scanner, but also Newers can give sound calls. Newers can call for the, for the little, the laptop, like, clickety-clackety with the keyboard, and then Foxay knows exactly what to do. Put himself in a situation where he can anticipate the plant, throw some impacts, and get the kill on the bed, right? He's looking around. He knows that there's a plant going down. He knows exactly where it is at this point. Impact, boom, boom. Easy 2v1 with Solis when you're in a situation where you have verticality, where you can see through the floor, get the impact, and then get the kill. So Solis can completely change the dynamic of 2v1 situations like this, and that's really, really strong. So Solis gets banned a lot. Solis gets banned in every single one of these maps, except for Clubhouse. Solis completely changes the way defenders can position themselves because they don't have to worry about whether or not there's a hidden drone in like a freaking shelf or something, right? That confidence gives you the ability to just hide in pretty significant parts of map control, right? Just hide in an entire room. Hide in this room, right? That ability to just kind of go around and do whatever you want because you don't have to worry about somebody, swinging you at 1,000,000 miles an hour because you're getting yellow pinged is pretty freaking good.